guys, we are here with none other than David Banner,
Yes.
Juneteenth, celebration of Black excellence.
Yes.
I mean, this event is phenomenal so far. We have so many Black entrepreneurs, vendors in the building.
Listen, they are in the building. When I say
JohneriO.
Black excellence,
Oh my
Black to
God.
the black bag.
Jasmine has done such a phenomenal job putting this event together. David,
Yes.
it is such a pleasure to have you.
Yes.
You have such pretty teeth.
Thank you. You better stop flirting with me.
I'm just acknowledging the beauty of the queen. I'm just if I was flirting, you would know it.
How have you been? So, tell us, what's some of the things you've been working on?
Right.
So much stuff. Cartoons, movies. One of the most amazing things about me is that Trump's presidency and the pandemic were some of the biggest blessings for me, because before Trump, a lot of people thought I was crazy or a conspiracy theorist. And I think, with Trump, the veil of America's racism was ripped off. And then with the pandemic, my company was already set up online, from the flags to my emblem. People really woke up, and I was prepared for it, because I had gotten a little angry for a while. I thought that my sacrifices for the people were gonna pay off immediately, and it didn't. And one of the things I'm gonna talk to people about today is sometimes what you pray for, you're not ready for. If I would have got, the 20,000 orders initially that I thought that I was ready for, shoot, we can barely keep up with a quarter of that. You know what I'm saying? And my growth, God allowed my growth to be exponentially connected to my understanding of business. So I got smarter as my business grew, and I was able to make mistakes that wouldn't embarrass us as a culture. You know what I'm saying? So my life has been amazing.
I love it. And I'm loving everything you're doing on IG, just dropping jewels. It just seems like you're in this space of just peace and tranquility. Like, how are you able just to transition with everything going on during COVID to this space of just, it's just
it's so funny that you say that, because my therapist was just telling me about how resilient I was. I went through so much last year, near-death experience. My office got flooded. Had two really big projects, which from a financial standpoint was awesome, but was very, very stressful. I don't think that we talk enough about the stress that comes along with the good things, because there's a such thing as good stress. I went through a lot last year, and I just realized, in the last 5 or 6 years, that I wasn't as lucky as I thought I was, that I actually am talented. I actually do fucking look awesome. You know what I'm saying? And I work on it. You know what I mean? And so I now have started loving the God in me. They teach us so much that we got to praise exterior gods, but we don't love the God that's right here in us. You know what I'm saying? And I love me. And I love, I don't mix business with my emotion much, but my staff has stand the test of time, and I love my staff. And that's hard to say that you can mix business with not pleasure, but with love, and actually love the people, and they still respect you and understand that I still fire your ass. I can love you from a distance, you know what I mean? But it's really working out.
right. I love that.
Well, by June being Men's Health Month, and you being someone, since the first time I met you, I sat down with you were strong on black men and the mental side of, just being a
Just
black
our
man
mental
in the
health.
community.
Right.
Right. So when it comes to mental health in the black community, especially with men, and you seeing a therapist yourself, how important do you think that is?
I think it's very important. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I'm the most thankful to God for is that I didn't go crazy. Like, I see a lot of artists that we still love that their eyes never came back. You know how you talk to somebody and they be, hey, dog, what's going on? Like, I was talking to a friend yesterday, and I hope people don't get mad, and if they do, fuck them. But I've been through enough where I could be an asshole and it would be justified. But I actually really love black people. That's one of my, and I'm gonna answer the mental health question, but I sort of go where the spirit leads me. I really love our people. And one of the things that hurts me the most is that what's funny is I stay talking about crackers. But the most problems I have in this world come from the people that I defend and I love the most. You know what I'm saying? I asked a crowd of people one time if they thought I was the antithesis of Donald Trump. And they said yes. Wow. I said, well, then why don't y'all treat me like white people treat him? And nobody could answer that question. But as far as mental health, one of the few mistakes that I can honestly say that I made in the presentation of my last album, The God Box, was that I didn't talk about food. One of our biggest problems in our community is the food that we eat. Yeah. I don't give a fuck if you have. Can I curse? Yeah. If not, I'll stop. Shit, thank you. But what I was gonna say. But what I would have said shit just to fuck with you, but I would have stopped because these are our businesses. But what I was gonna say, if you put water in a Ferrari, you're not gonna get nowhere. And you know the perfect example that I give people are our children. We always say, well, our children can't sit down and they can't concentrate. Well, you fill them full of sugar and salt in the morning. What do you expect? Like, now that I understand food, look at the cereal. Like even, watch this. Scott Parker from the David Banner Podcast taught me this, and subscribe to the David Banner Podcast, by the way. He taught me that the daily allowance of sugar, it's 2 grams over in just 1 can of Coke. So if you drink 1 can of Coke, you are actually over your daily allowance of salt and sugar. And you think about how many Cokes we used to throw back before we even got out the damn house. So how can we expect to reach our God state when we talk when the true church is the human body? We don't take care of the body and expect the mind. We already fucked up in the mind, but before we can even reach there, what encapsulates your brain? It's your body. So that's also with our food. And then another thing that we don't talk about, and I'm not telling y'all to take drugs or kids to take drugs, but even with our children, how they take drugs. If you on downers, stay on downers. If you on uppers, stay on uppers. But we all over the place. And then wonder why emotionally we're so fragmented. The last thing that I'm going to talk about as it pertains to that is therapy. I believe every black person in America needs therapy. We have gone, just being black in America. We're not even talking about being a woman or being a man, but just being black in America is stressful. Every time when a white person see a police car pass by, they be like, oh shit, we thinking, do I have some crack in this motherfucker somewhere? I remember one time I was riding, I was whipping my Bentley, and I got pulled over. I hadn't been in contact with high-level drugs in about 15 years, right? I felt in my heart there may be some cocaine in this motherfucker somewhere. Like, that's how emotionally we're fucked up. You know what I mean? I know I hadn't been in contact with no drugs in 15 years. But I felt like when the cop was going through my car that he might find some cocaine somewhere. Imagine what that does to us mentally, then how that transforms socially. You feel what I'm saying? Then we ain't talking about the eating and the rest of the stuff that we just talked about. They're telling me to wrap it up. I really have enjoyed y'all. I have to go on stage and finish up. But I love y'all and I thank you.
Listen, we have an amazing presentation from he's a celebrity artist that want to present you with something.
What's your name, bruh?
Antoine Dante,
All right.
a good
Come
friend
on,
of mine.
Antoine Dante. What you got?
He
We were wrong,
he literally did this in like a week.
Wow.
Less
Bro,
than a
that's
week. I called
good,
him,
bro.
and this is a subject, Juneteenth, that's really near to him.
All the time, bro. That's dope. If it wasn't, I wouldn't say nothing.
Sure.
That's dope. Wow. And it's one of my favorite shirts too. Yeah, dope. Let me stand up so y'all get that.